Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. Today's beer is Wild Wolf Brewing out of Nelly's Ford, Virginia. This is their dry stout, which is an Irish style, from what I've read. And it says serve in an English pint. Like I said, they're out of Nelly's Ford, Virginia. This is a 4.0% ABV by volume. So this is a very sessionable stout. If you want to drink several of these without getting inebriated, at 4%, I mean, it doesn't get much lower than that. I mean, there are some that are in the threes, but 4.0%, I mean, this is just slightly stronger than an iced tea. So if you like the darker beers, this may be a good one to try. I've not had this one before, so this will be a first for me. And it says stout, dry stout, dry stout, dry stout, dry stout. So it must be pretty dry. What do you think? Howling Good Beer on the bottom. And on the very bottom of the can, it says canned on 05-1914 by ODMC. It says this stout is deep brown in color and has a beautiful tan head. It is medium bodied. It has a creamy character, the coffee-like aroma, with slight chocolate notes is followed by a medium hop bitterness. This beer is remarkably smooth. Well, it should be at 4%. But it is in the Irish style. I think that's what I think I read that. Irish dry stout is what Beer Advocate has here on this. Availability is rotating. And like I tell you guys all the time, I usually finish up the evening with either a porter or a stout. This is the final beer of the evening. And that's why I have the pint glass, since it's only 4%. Normally I pour my porters and stouts, it's 6, 7, 8% or bigger, into the double glass, but this is a 4%er. So Beer Advocate actually says pint glass, Becker, Nonic, tumbler, mug, stein, or Sadell. They do not say anything about pouring it into a tulip glass, oversized wine glass, or whatever. So with a 4%er, this is basically, it says an Irish style, but I consider this an English style because most of the stouts or porters that were originally brewed over in England, especially the porters, were done because back in the 17th, 18th century, that was before soft drinks or any of the other stuff, and people drank a lot more beer back then, but it was a lower ABV beer, easy for me to say, and that way they could drink one or two of these and go back to work. I mean, you wouldn't get inebriated from drinking an Imperial or something that was at 8, 9, 10, 12% or bigger, and try to function and go back to work with a big buzz on. So they brewed these lower ABV beers so you could have them with your lunch, and a lot of people even had them for breakfast. And back then, that they brewed beers that were even lower ABVs in the 1 and 2%ers because the water wasn't that good, and there was no soft drinks and stuff. So I mean, even children drank uh, beers back then, but it was such a low ABV beer that they wouldn't get in shit faced because they were drinking alcohol. It was such a low alcohol beer that you would have to drink 30 or 40 of them before you would get drunk. So and during the brewing process, boiling the wort would actually clarify the water. So there was a lot of reasons why they did that back then, and this was before the modern day era of purification of some of the water and stuff. If you had a well, you drank the water out of it, and it was what it was. But a lot of the other places that had they used water from the rivers and stuff like that, you had to boil that stuff. I mean, there was microorganisms and other stuff that would give you diarrhea and all other kind of stuff, unless the water was either boiled or purified somehow. So that's the reason behind that back in the day. So nowadays, a lot of breweries, especially in England and stuff, in some of the pubs over there, brew these lower 2 and 3%ers. So you could come in, especially the dock workers and stuff, would come in and have their lunch and drink a pint or two of these lower ABV beers and go back to work. But they wouldn't be shit-faced. They could still function. And it's not like drinking an Imperial or something that is 10, 12 or bigger beer, where you're going to have a buzz on and you're going to go back out there and cut your arm off or do something stupid like that. So that's, to me, just my opinion, that's why a lot of these lower ABV beers came into play, and that's why they drank them back then. So enough of that. I don't want this to be a 30-minute video on a 4% dry stout. So let's get on with this one. Food pairings for this beer. Cuisine's barbecue, Latin American, and since it is a stout, it goes well with chocolate dishes. And the meat is smoked meat and grilled meat, glass versus pint, Beckernonic, tumbler, mug, stein, or Seidel. It says not recommended for extended cellaring because the ABV is too low, 4%. Alright, Cabot, come on, you gotta work here. IBUs on this beer are 40. ABV is 4, and the brewing process, it says rotating, so I don't know how often they brew this beer. They're out of it says Virginia. Let's see, Nellis, Fort Virginia. I've never been there, not been to the brewery, and I picked up a couple of different ones from Nellis Fort. So this is something that you could drink multiple cans of, or multiple glasses, depending on if you're getting on tap, and not get inebriated. So I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. So without further ado, I know I've been flapping my gums quite a bit already. We're probably 5 minutes into the video or so, and I ain't even poured it in the damn glass yet. So let's get on with this 4%er. Nice carbonation. Nice carbonation. With that aggressive pour, about 2 fingers of head over into the light. It is, for a stout, it is not pitch black. It reminds me of a porter. I can see some red ruby tinges around the glass with the light coming through. So 4% will often lead you to a lighter malt bill. In a lighter malt bill, sometimes it gets that translucent color in it. So let's get a nose on it. Chocolate, coffee, toffee, caramel. To me, very reminiscent of maybe a Guinness or something to that aspect. No alcohol smell whatsoever. A very nice smelling dark beer. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. I'm getting that metallic taste. Not a big fan of that, but a lot of times you will get that, and it usually dissipates as the beer warms up. I'm even getting it on the nose too. Very thin. Very easy drinking, no alcohol. And before I get carried away and tell you that I don't like it or anything, it is a low ABV beer, very thin, kind of on the watery side. But I'm giving such a metallic taste to this beer right out of the can. And I'm a big can fan over bottles now in certain styles. But a lot of beers, even in the bottles, I'll get that metallic taste, and it usually dissipates as it warms up. So we're going to let this one warm up. It's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees, and see where it ends up here when I come back on the final chug. So without me mealy mouthing this or saying anything bad about it, we're going to let it warm up and see where it ends up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Now that it's warmed up, been sipping on it about 20-25 minutes or so. Metallic taste is gone. It's dissipated. Very nice. A lot of, not to say a lot. A little chocolate, a little toffee, a little coffee. Very easy drinking, very sessionable. No alcohol taste whatsoever. Let's do the final chug. Very nice, sessionable dry stout. If you're wanting to drink something at lunchtime or so and go back to work, if you're into the darker beers, this would be a real good candidate for that. Now that it's come up to room temperature, nothing off-putting about it. Very nice. And it's got the date on the bottom of the can when it was put in here, so thumbs up for them for doing that. Especially on a low ABV beer like this. And not being an IPA or anything like that. It's got all the information you need to have to know what you're drinking. I mean, if you're out at a bar or a pub and you're into the darker beers, you want to know that you're drinking a 4%er. That way you know how many you can drink and not be inebriated. If you don't have any idea, it's not written on there, and you're drinking an 8 or a 9 or a 10%er, and you drink several of them, you're gonna have your buzz going on. So you might get in trouble on the way home with the man. So that's why I drink most of my stuff here at the house, so I don't have to worry about that problem. So it's a very decent beer. Nothing outstanding. Very tasty. It is a little on the dry side, but it makes you want another one or something else after you had this. So that is on a dry stout. That's the only thing I can say bad about it. I mean, it leaves you with a dry mouth, and you want something else to drink. But that's a good thing for a bar or a pub. They want you to have another one, then another one, and then another one. That's why they're making money. But it's a decent beer. It's for a 4%er. It's pretty tasty. So if you're not into the big ABV, I don't know why I have a problem with the ABV beers. This is a good one to pick up and try. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to give this a 6, which is a B. So that's what I think about it. It's decent. I like a little more taste with my beer since I am drinking at home. But as far as a sessionable stout, 4%er, this is right in the category, guys. So it is what it says it is. It's nothing outstanding, but it is pretty decent. Worth picking up and giving it a try if you're into the darker beers. So, with that being said, let's go over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 83 in a good range. That's probably where I would put it, somewhere between 83 and 85, somewhere in that area. Not quite to the B minus, but not quite to the B plus. And over to Rate Beer, Red beer has no score. They have, that says requires more ratings. So it is what it is. I don't guess enough people have tried this and posted their comments on this beer. So very decent, guys. It's nothing outstanding or nothing, like I say, to write home about, but it's a decent dry stout at a 4% ABV range. So with that being said, if you've had this one, give me some comments back. Let me know what you think. And let's see if we can get something a little more tasty tomorrow. We'll go look in the fridge. See you then.